So, hello there everyone, and welcome. It is Niran here, and today it is time for me to bring you another list of things we all want to see added to FIFA 20. Once again, I'm going to be talking about more your visual, aesthetic stuff and gameplay sort of things, rather than stuff to do with career mode or other game modes. I've done plenty of these before. There'll be a playlist in the top right of the screen, so after this video, you can check out any of the other, like, FIFA 20 wish lists that I've done basically on this channel. There's plenty of them. Today, I'm bringing you roughly 11 more things that we all want to see on FIFA 20. I don't know why I said roughly. It is exactly 11. It's not going to be 11 and a half, is it, realistically? But without any further ado, if you go on to enjoy the video, slap a like on it, subscribe if you are new to the channel. It's the big red button under the video, and I hope you go on to enjoy and agree with the stuff that I'm bringing to the table. A lot of you guys suggesting it in the comment section in previous videos, so massive appreciation for that. But let's get into it. Number one, we have got classic teams. I talked about classic kits before. That was a great addition to FIFA back in the day. However, unfortunately, they were removed. I don't know if that's a licensing issue, but classic teams would be so good. So we're talking like the amazing Brazil team of like the 70s with your Pelés and stuff. Maybe the 2000s AC Milan side with your Shevchenkos and Seedorfs and Gattusos and Cafus and stuff. Certain teams that did certain things, really. I suppose you could have the Manchester United squad that came back from behind and won the Champions League against Bayern Munich, or any other nations or teams that did something incredible for the game of football. Even if it's only 5 or 6 teams, it would be such a cool addition being able to play with an entire squad from a certain era rather than just having certain legends on the game. You do have the classic XI, but again, it is quite limited. It doesn't even match, to be fair, some of the legends that you have on Ultimate Team, so you can't even use some of those players offline unless you've got the cheat engine, obviously, on PC. Number 2, we've got a bit of licensing, and it's for the Euros competition. We have the licensing for the FIFA World Cup. It makes sense. It's a FIFA game. We would be concerned if the licensing for the World Cup wasn't on the game. However, usually you do get some DLC content for the Euros, but you never actually have it on the game all the way through the game cycle. So in my opinion, it would actually be quite nice to have the full licensing for the Euros on the game. It would be nice if that came along with some different national teams. I've already spoken on national teams I would like to see on FIFA going forward into FIFA 20, but the actual competition itself for the Euros with qualification would be cool. For kickoff mode, and it'll also be very helpful for career mode as well. It's a little bit, I mean, it's called the European Championships on career mode. It's not that realistic, and the qualification situation for it is an absolute travesty. Again, mainly because there's not enough actual national teams on the game. At number 3, we've got an old feature that I'd actually love to see back, and this is the pre-match arena. Now, for you new gen guys and girls who only started getting FIFA maybe 3 or 4 years ago, you actually will not know what on earth this is. I mean, you'll know something similar. The arena that you have for practicing and, you know, whatever on the main menu, it's pretty much that, but you used to be able to use it before you loaded up a game, etc., like online, sorry, offline even, or in career mode. I think it was on Pro Clubs. It might still be on Pro Clubs. I don't know. I haven't played Pro Clubs in about 2 years, so what I'm trying to say is it'd be nice to have that one back for all game modes offline as well as Pro Clubs if it's still in there. Generally speaking, the actual arena situation has gone downhill dramatically. It used to have a lot of attention to detail to it. I remember there was one in sort of like a rundown area of England, and there was also one based in like China or Shanghai, whereas now it's just kind of this generic training ground, and it has been the same for about 2 or 3 years. So number 4, we've got better manager reactions on the touchline. I've noticed they literally have 2 animations on the touchline. One is happy, one is annoyed. That is pretty much it. You know, they've added managers as like a key thing a couple of years ago. It would be nice if they had more of an impact than just A, appearing in transfer negotiations on career mode, and B, providing 2 emotions on the touchline. I think sometimes they do get involved in the substitution animation, but literally barring that, that is it. They're involved in transfers, being happy, being annoyed, and substitutions. I want to see them falling to the ground if there's an awful miss in a game or a red card. I want to see them shouting and giving instructions to players, etc. It is a small thing, but if you're going to have managers on the game for any longer than 2 years, it's going to get boring with how, I mean, it has already got boring. I genuinely, at this point, wouldn't notice anything different if they weren't there. I wouldn't notice a single thing different if managers weren't in the game. So let's tone it up a little bit. Bring something new to the table as far as that's concerned. Next up, we've got adding chants. It would be sick if you could create your own chants, but it would be quite difficult, I feel, you know, in actual practicality to create a chant. What, you'd have to record your own. It wouldn't really work. But if you could download a chant, for example, from YouTube or something, and then add it to FIFA, how sick would that be? I realize, right, there could be some very interesting chants with a lot of expletives, but it's a PEGI 3 game in what they've given to you. If you choose to add a swear word, surely there's no issue at all. It would probably only work for offline anyway, or it might work online, but only on your game as opposed to the other person's game. I don't know. But it'd just be a nice little feature. The chants can get a little bit repetitive. They've done a decent job with getting some Premier League ones on there, but for the most part, there has been a bit of staleness with the addition of chants in recent FIFAs. Number 6, we've got better player customization and creation. Now, I've talked about this in a little bit finer detail with some elements in terms of more haircuts and tattoos and stuff like that. But even then, you know, creating a player is really, really limited in my opinion. For a start, you can only be male, which I think is a bit of an interesting one given, you know, women's teams were added about 4 years ago. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, FIFA's sexist. I'm just saying it's probably something that's been overlooked. There is realistically a female demographic for FIFA, and you can't even create your own player or pro on pro clubs. It would be potentially a good idea in my opinion. But even on top of that, you know, you can't even select certain positions if you want to create a player. Like, you can't be a right winger or a left winger, for example. You can't be a centre mid. You can only be a holding mid or an attacking mid. It's so lazy. It's been the case for like 5 years and people have always said it, yet you still somehow can't even do it. It was only until recently that you could make a player below the age of 21 because they just forgot to add new dates of birth. And generally speaking, I think you used to be able to do a lot more with the creation of a player in terms of their looks. After that, in at number 7, we've got Stadium Creator. Now, I've always thought you should be able to actually add to your stadium in career mode, especially if you're doing a road to glory. It doesn't make sense if you're taking a League 2 side using Ivy Lane or whatever, and then you end up in the Premier League, in the Champions League final, and you've got a capacity of 8,000. But I think actually being able to create a stadium just offline, or even for use online, that would be very difficult, but offline certainly would be sick. You could actually build your own stadium, you know, put whatever stands you want in, create any sort of design, have like a hanging scoreboard or roofs that go over the actual stadium when it's raining or something, or a different pattern on the pitch. You could do so much with it. Number 8, we've got the old school Gameface scanner, another thing that used to be in FIFA that has since been removed. I think this was in FIFA till about FIFA 15 or FIFA 16 and then got removed. I do understand that to an extent it was a little bit underused, but it was massively underrated. It was easy as well. I don't really understand why it's been removed. All you had to do was upload a picture and then it just put it on your player. Like, is that really that difficult to put back into FIFA? I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't worth the effort because not many people used it, but I know a lot of people would have used it in pro clubs, especially now. And if they actually did stuff to pro clubs, it might be something that people actually play a lot more often. You might get a lot more use out of the Gameface scanner. Number 9 is a small one, but again related to the crowd, which I do think is slightly underdeveloped on current FIFA games. It's standing ovations for good performances and also retiring players in career mode. I've already spoken, about the fact that it would be nice to have like testimonials for older players or players who are about to retire. It's a feature in PES Master League. I'd love to see it in FIFA career mode. But going along with that as well, it would be nice if a player was being brought off in their final game. It's not difficult for the game to know that a player is playing their final game. You know, it'll say retiring at the end of the season. It even has that status on career mode. So it'd be sick if, you know, you actually got a cinematic of the fans, you know, standing up, clapping, the player maybe getting a bit emotional as he's walking off the pitch or whatever. And the same with, you know, a player who's put in a really good performance. The game literally collects together the ratings for any player. If a player gets brought off and has a rating of, say, above 9, then you get another cinematic of the crowd clapping and a player walking off slowly and clapping to the fans or whatever. Obviously not emotional because he's not about to retire, but just a different cinematic in comparison to the usual substitution. The penultimate one is a very simple one. It's the Serie A graphics pack to go along with the likes of the Bundesliga, Premier League, La Liga, and Ligue 1, which we have on FIFA at the moment, and obviously the European competitions like the Champions League, Super Cup, and Europa League. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy around Cristiano Ronaldo at the moment, and he's not technically the cover star on a startup menu anymore, but realistically, he is their cover boy for this game. I don't know whether he will be in the future, but regardless, one of the new people they've chosen is Paulo Dybala, so given he also also plays for Juventus. It's a similar situation. I think given that they are the poster boys, or two of the poster boys, it'd be a good idea to have the actual graphics pack and proper licensing for the league that they play in. On top of that, for the love of God, can we replace Calcio B with Serie B? It's not difficult, boys. And finally, another aesthetic gameplay feature. We've got players swapping shirts at the end of the game. It happens after every single game in the known universe. You could go down to the 11th division of Welsh football. There's still going to be players swapping shirts at the end. But that is going to wrap up the 11 more things that I want to see on FIFA 20 going forward. If there's any other things that I've missed out, drop them down in the comment section below. Whilst you're down there, slap a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media these days too. My Twitter and Insta are at @theofficialfng and links are down below. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.